Hi friends! If you click to check out a few selects from Nakamura Seisakusho brushes, then please keep on watching. Hi, I'm Alicia if it's your first time here, and if you're wondering what does Kinkysweat mean, Alicia? I love exercise and eyeshadow. Basically, if you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. A huge thank you to Fude Beauty again. Nakamura Seisakusho is a newer brand on their site, and they were really nice to send me a few brushes and give me some info about the brand. What's remarkable about Nakamura brushes is that their synthetic fiber technology, fam. Fude brushes made in Japan are usually coveted for their natural hair designs and grades. High grade goat hair, Kolinsky hair, squirrel hair. I mean, you have a lot of different hairs for different purposes, performances, and feel. The reason why Fude brushes are so sought out is because of the performance and feel. Brushes made in Japan are not laser cut and will therefore be more expensive simply because of the craftsmanship in that it's handmade and not machine made. Secondly, the hair fibers are kept intact, so the tip of the brush is not laser cut, and that's what yields a really beautiful soft feel. And also on the natural hair, you have cuticles that latch onto powders and will therefore have an even distribution of product, whether it's eyeshadow or blush or loose powder. Now, when you roll into the synthetic realm of things, it could be a little tricky because it's very hard to emulate natural hair with synthetic fibers. This is where Nakamura comes in. And a huge thank you again to Fude Beauty for sending me this info because I find it quite fascinating. Nakamura Seisakusho was founded during the Showa period in 1953, and that period ran from 1926 to 1989. Little history lesson, I know. Bear with me. They started with manufacturing metal fillings and then learned the value of meticulous attention to detail in production and of creating products that are reliable and durable as well as attractive. In the 1970s, the company started to create makeup brushes applying this understanding and proficiency. While carefully preserving the traditions of brush making, Nakamura Seisakusho aims not to just replicate the work of predecessors but to constantly innovate. The company's ultimate goal is satisfaction in the hand of the makeup brush user, whether they are a professional makeup artist or a home makeup enthusiast. Now here's where the specialized synthetic fiber technology comes in. Bristles at Nakamura are various types of natural hair, synthetic brushes, and a combination of both. So the brushes you'll see here during the demos, they either are all synthetic or a combination of synthetic and natural hair. One important innovation of the company is its development of an ultra-fine synthetic bristle with a diameter of 0.05 millimeters, and usually synthetic fibers live within the realm of 0.07 milliliters to about 0.15 milliliters. And with 0.05 milliliters, you wonder, does 0.02 milliliters make a difference? Yes, it does. The impact is enormous on its softness and performance. Even that little itty bitty 0.02 milliliters, that fine tip bundled together makes a world of a difference in terms of how the brush feels. Very soft, and of course better performance for pickup. Not only that, but the synthetic fibers with that 0.05 milliliter diameter, they're also corrugated, which mimics the cuticle structure of a natural hair, therefore a lot better pickup than your typical synthetic fiber. But keep in mind, sometimes the softer is not necessarily the best, right? A softer brush is not going to have as much product pickup, so Nakamura Seisakusho brushes have a wide range of blends. You have some that are all 0.05 milliliters, and you have a mix with 0.05 with 0.07, and then you mix in some of the natural hair fibers, and it places the brush on a wide spectrum of performance, whether you want something a little more heavy duty or you want something more soft. And it says here, over time, responding to the decline in the variety and quality of animal hair, they decided to mix high quality goat hair with PBT, 0.05 milliliter and 0.07 milliliter to find the ideal blends and to ensure the consistency and sustainability of their brushes. This is really exciting because if you primarily use synthetic brushes and you find the ones that you've encountered are not up to par to Fude, this is great news because not only does Nakamura Seisakusho brushes have natural hair selections, but they have all synthetic. So we'll go through each brush, the price, the hair that it's made of, with the diameters and all that. We'll roll through the demo, and at the end of the video, just sharing my overall thoughts and recommendations in terms of which brush I think will be best for who. Let's start with the powder brush from their K series, the 01. You have K here to distinguish it from the rest of their brush lines, and this is one one of the first ones that Fude Beauty sent me, and of course I'll show the corresponding footage to how the brush looked like pre-wash. This one retails for $95, is one of Nakamura Seisakusho's more expensive offerings, but it says here that the bristles are a fine blend of carefully selected natural hair and PBT, which are combined in the optimum ratio for a delicate skin feel similar to that of gray squirrel. Even though it's half natural, half PBT, I have to say it's a beautiful silky brush. And excuse me, I'm sorry, let me bring you in a little closer. That's enough. I just had the Danessa on. Didn't powder yet because I wanted to use the K01 powder brush to apply my Suku. And although it's labeled to be a powder brush, I think it's ideal not only for loose powder application, but you see, beautiful for blush as it's not too big but not too small either. You can pounce it comfortably on the apples of your cheeks. You could also strike it through the hollows of your cheekbones, which will yield a beautiful bronze application as well. We have some powder on there, and you can either swirl and twirl it on, or you can press and roll. And you see here is a beautifully feeling brush, super soft and silky on the skin. Now remember, you have different grays of brushes that are made with gray squirrel, with different grays of goat hair. So depending on how soft you want it will determine what brush you purchase. Now this might not be the softest of the softest, but granted, the fact that it has goat hair and synthetic fibers but still feel as soft as it does is quite extraordinary, and has really beautiful glide here. I don't know if you can see that dance on the skin, which is something I often criticize about with synthetic brushes, is that I feel they don't move in the same way as a natural hairbrush does, and I feel because of that the powder application is not as smooth and consistent. But this, it's not bad. Next up from the K series, we have the 06 eyeshadow brush. Even though it's marketed to be an eyeshadow brush, I love this for under eye loose powder application. This one retails for $37, and this is a mix of pine, squirrel, and PBT. Thus you see the gradient between the black and the brown shade here on the bristle. I really love this brush for under eye application, and we'll go in of course with the same Suku powder. You can either tap it on or whip it on, but I think it's like the perfect size to tap powder lightly. For instance, if you don't love a lot of powder under your eyes, you could place the powder right at the tip of the brush and hit just the lower inner part of the eye, or you can swirl and twirl or hit a larger surface area at the first tap, right? You don't have to go in several times to cover that area of the under eye. So I feel this brush size is highly efficient in terms of either tapping powder lightly here or bringing it across the greater eye area. You could also use this all over your face. You don't have to rely on the big powder brush. I rather love this size, again, for its versatility in terms of it covering several tasks for loose powder, whether it be loose powder or pressed powder. And highlight, I've been using this the heck out of. It is beautifully shaped for the cheekbones, as you will see in a moment. Dare I say, really nice for blush. You just get a little and the brush head design fits there precisely. Amazing. And we could also use this definitely for eyeshadow. I'll show you that later during the demo. It's one of your one and done fluffy brushes. If you want that wash of color through the crease, this is going to give it to you. Those are the two I have from the K series. Let's move in to the Now series. I believe this is the 01 face brush from their Now series. This retails for $66 if that's the case. And here it says the Nakamura Seisakusho Now series is a collection of brushes designed for everyday use. They're gentle on the skin and easy to use with bristles of a moderate firmness. This one is a mixture of goat and BBT, and I particularly like this brush not only for its design. I love the brush matte black on the ferrule and the brush matte magenta on the handle. You have the Now series label here with the rest of the brand label, and it is pinched at the ferrule. And I feel this design yields a variety of uses. Loose powder application, again, because it's wide, you can apply powder on a wider surface area of your face at once. But my favorite use for this brush is the pinch shape for flawless bronzer and contour application. And keep in mind, because this is a combination of several fibers, you will undergo shedding, but because I wash these, when you do wash them, the weaker hairs will find their way out of the ferrule and the brush will stabilize. not to worry. I figure we'll hop into the Charlotte Tilbury, get some bronzer right at the edge of the brush. So I'm not totally covering it. I'm trying to get it right there, starting at the temple and just bringing it down. And that just makes for an easy application. Now, I would say this brush mix definitely yields more, I want to say stiff, but it's not rough. It still lives on the softer side of the spectrum than many brushes, but because of that slight stiffness and pushback, it offers a lot more control. You feel where the bristles are on the face while you apply the product. It doesn't escape you. You have control from beginning to end. And again, I love the flat design because not only can you fit it perfectly into the hollows of your cheeks, but you can wrap it here nicely around the brow and up towards the temple and your forehead. And that was just flawlessly easy. I mean, you saw. And again, despite the synthetic and natural blend, the feel is soft. Look how beautifully it moves across the skin. And again, it's just immaculate to use. I'm going to stick to this side of the face because I want to demonstrate a few synthetic brushes on this side. But with that said, let's move into the second brush I have from the Now series. And that is the number 6 large eyeshadow brush. They have 2 sizes in their Now series. I think I have the large eyeshadow brush. And if it is in fact the one I think it is, this retails for $36. But this is a mix of weasel and horse hair. Now, shout out to Sonia G from sweetmakeup-temptations.com. Sonia has a beautifully organized list of the different hair types. Weasel is said to be super durable and can be used with powders and liquids. Horse said with blush and eyeshadow, so I'm assuming just powder. And because there is some horse in here, I don't know if this is suitable for liquid and cream use, so Fude Beauty, let me know. If it is, I would think this perfect for concealer. Again, if you can use it with cream mediums, but the shadow is what I'm most excited about. And of course, I have to go in with my ex. A lot of you were disappointed that I had Subversive on the number 4 spot, but you know what? We're gonna give it some love today. Okay, we're gonna make this as simple as possible. So with that, I'm taking the number 6 in with Skin Show Nude, Skin Show Fever, and just place it lightly on the center of my lid. Now, I love this brush because if I were to go in with Lazarus, you could whip Lazarus just beautifully across the lid, turn the brush on its side, and whip it through the crease. Good news, however, Nakamura has different size eyeshadow brushes so that if this is a little too big, if you have small hooded eyes, there is a smaller brush head design so you can still get that beautiful lay down, but use the softness of the brush to whip the color through the crease. And also great for the lower lash line. If we want to have a little fun, why don't we go in with Night Creature? I'm just popping that right on the outer part of the lid. I'm going back and forth to pick up the most product and just taking the brush through the crease like so. I had to bring you in even more close because I am so impressed with this weasel and horsehair blend, how well it picked up Night Creature, because Night Creature is one of, Pat's special shades. She could be a little tricky, okay? But we have really nice pigmentation and I don't have any fallout. And I love the wider base on the brush. I know it might not be ideal for storing because it does take up more space since the handle is not tapered, but it's still lightweight and it allows for a really nice grip on the brush. I completely cover Skin Show Fever, but it's okay. This is a big brush for the next task, but we're gonna work it. Let's go in with this Astral shade, more specifically VR Pink. Tap it right on the inner part of the eye, not picking up a lot, just to add a little bit of brightness there. And we did get a little fallout here, but I'll use my eyeshadow brush from the K series just to whip it away and la-di-da. I could also use this brush with no additional product to whip the edges of Night Creature. I just love doing this. It just feels like you're gonna get a beautiful gradient, like a beautiful blend. Blitz Amethyst, same brush, now through the lower lash line. Now this is a bigger brush, so if you want a more precise application, then you will opt for one of the smaller brush head designs. Oh, but that's nice. I'm picking up more Night Creature, again, wiggling that brush back and forth to pick up the most product. This brush is a little big for the inner corner, but I'll go in with Astral Ghost Orchid, and just with the very tip of the brush, place it on the inner part of the eye. So it's more like a wash. I could just take my finger and place Astral Orchid there on the inner part of the eye. It's no biggie, but I think, again, this brush head size is optimal, as you saw, for lid placement, through the crease, and a really blown out lower lash line look. Now we move into the Nakamura Seisakusho Eye Series. This is their 03 highlight brush. And you have eye here on the handle. This is more of a light pink pearlescent finish on the handle. You have the crimp design on the silver ferrule. Even though it's labeled to be a highlight brush, and this one in particular retails for $40, I use this for a cream bronzer, which I'm about to show you in a minute. Not only cream bronzer, but cream blush. This one is all synthetic. It says here that Nakamura Seisakusho's Eye Series is a collection of stylish, vegan-friendly brushes. Bristles are made from an innovative ultra-fine PBT hair of only 0.05 milliliters, what we spoke about earlier, with well-balanced elasticity. So this is all synthetic. But let me tell you something, fam. This could have fooled me. I mean, yes, if I were to compare it to one of my Kazan brushes or a gray squirrel brush, it's not that soft. However, for it to move like it does and to feel as soft as it does, despite the fact that it's synthetic, is very impressive. Since we spoke about different tasks for different brushes, I usually like to rely on my synthetic brushes because synthetic brushes won't soak up as much product, but really they take more of a beating, so you can wash them more often without them getting destroyed or misshapen. My natural hair brushes I rather just use with my powder products, so I don't have to wash them as often. And the product I've been using this the heck out of with is the Danessa Myricks Power Bronzer. Yes, I know she has the contour bombs. I'm gonna get them. Don't you worry. This brush, although it's said to be a highlight brush, I dig it for this product. And the fact that it's smaller, it just fits beautifully into the hollows of the cheeks. Take it right here and I just whip it in like I would any other powder bronzer product. Now I understand you might prefer something that's more tighter and shorter bristles so you can stipple it in. And I understand if you're more comfortable with that application technique, but sometimes I like to apply my cream products like I would a powder product. And the fact that this is synthetic, I could use it with cream, but still whip it on like a powder because of the brush head size and the softness of the bristles, I think just gives me a little more freedom. You could also whip it here under the jawline. And with cream blush, forget it. This is the Tower 28 Cream Blush in Magic Hour. The eye brush with this shade and this consistency, I mean, look how perfectly it fits onto my cheek. I'm not even looking at the mirror. I'm looking at the viewfinder because I'm just so confident in terms of the brush head size and that it will apply my cream blush like a dream, okay? Isn't that just gorgeous? And of course, we just make sure we wipe in between. If we wanted to use this for highlighter, why not? Let's go into it. This is Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Tiara, a more highlighter type of shade. I'll place it right here. And then we'll just press it in. So again, it might not be the smallest highlighter brush, but I think that blended Vision Flush beautifully. Just press it right in there. You could even take it around the brow. Beautiful. The number 3 is the only brush I have from the Eye Series, but they have several eyeshadow brushes. They have different sizes for cheek and face powder brushes. I would love to try their eyeshadow brush because if it's anything like their highlighter brush, is good. We have 2 more brushes to go over, but I quickly wanted to revisit the K number 6 because I wanted to show how it could be beautiful for a one and done shadow application. And just as promised, going in with Lazarus, just whip it lightly over the lid. I know this is a very big brush if you have small hooded eyes, so I would just keep this brush for cheek highlight or blush or loose powder application under the lash line. I got smoky really fast, but look how quick that was. I used the tip of the brush just to fit it here on the outer part of the lid. Yep, back in with the number 6, no other than with Gigabyte. Just place it right here on the inner part of the eye. And now I'll take Night Creature on the lower lash line for this eye look. If I wanted to, I would take just a little bit of deep shade and use the very tip of the brush to place it on the outer part of the eye, like very tip, because it's a big brush, so you just want to get it right there. Just add a little bit of shading and then just whip it out. I love how this brush feels. Oh my goodness me. It's so easy to pull through the crease and to blend. Again, I know it's a little big if you have small hooded eyes, but you could use a smaller blender brush for the majority of your blending needs. But when everything is said and done, you just want that blur. Make sure you don't have any additional product. Whip it around the edges of the shadow. and finish the look. I'm just tapping on some astrals here on this side. Don't mind me. The next brush we have from Nakamura is the Moe series, and this is 04 cheek brush. I think it is. They have several designs that come in a similar shape. This one in particular is $38. And here it says the Moe series is the perfect balance of adorable and sophisticated. And the word Moe in Japanese means budding or to sprout bloom. An ill-defined otaku term that means, amongst other things, cute, huggable, or endearing. This is all of those things I have to say with this brush design. The bristles are made with the company's innovative ultra-fine PBT hairs of only, again, 0.05 milliliters in diameter. The cuticle-like corrugated fiber is blended with an antibacterial agent, which enables it to pick up a good amount of product content and distribute it evenly, as well as being hygienic and easy to clean. And all the brushes in the Moe series have this flat base, so you could actually stand it up on its own. I know I'm not doing a very good job here. You could stand it up on its own, as well as the other brushes included in this line, like their other cheek face brushes and their eye brushes. And the handle is short, so I think it's great for self-use, maybe a little tricky to store because the wider base will take up more room, but again, they're easy to stand up. Now this says a cheek brush, so let's see what we can do here. You can use this for foundation application. If you wanted just a light application of color, because the bristles are longer, you will deposit not as much product than a brush that has more short, more compact bristles in the ferrule. But if you prefer a lighter coverage and maybe the foundation that you happen to use is more of a liquid consistency, then this will be great for that application. I thought, why don't we experiment with Danessa's Vision Cover in Bread and Butter? I'm gonna put it right on top of, oh, that was a lot, Tower 8's Magic Hour, and just use, oh my goodness me, use our Moe to whip it out. Why not? I'll bring some over on this side, especially if you love a lot of blush. I thought maybe we give this a wipe and go in with a powder blush. No other than Masuku Blush Palette 102, back in with the Moe. Get some powder on there. I think it's quite lovely for powder products as well. It's very soft, and although this doesn't feel as like a natural hairbrush from their K or even their Now series, I think it still moves beautifully across the skin. And you can see here, again, even it being synthetic, the 0.05 milliliter technology does have a huge impact on softness and performance for sure. And the last brush I have is one from their Makie series. This is their Makie portable brush in the Cosmos design, and this one retails for $88. We have a blend of goat and PBT, and the thing with Makie brushes is that you have the design, but also the portability that the brush, you can screw it up and use it wherever you like. Now, I have to say, this is one of a more stable construction that I've experienced with Makie brushes. You don't hear it rattle while you use it on the face. And I didn't wash this one because I feel they're tricky to wash because you have so much of the mechanism exposed to water, and I didn't want that to get wet. So if you have suggestions for that, let me know down below. This brush size is particularly versatile. You can use it for all over powder application. You can use it, I think, beautifully optimal for bronzer application here in the hollows of the cheeks. Really nice for blush. And dare I say, because it's so pointed, you can get away with loose powder application under the eyes. And why not? Let's go in with some Skin Show Fever in with our Makie brush and just tap that right here on tops of the cheekbone. Now this brush is definitely more on the stiffer side. It doesn't have the same flow and glide as I've experienced from the other Nakamura Seisakusho brushes that I showed. I feel that the K series brush is just beautifully soft. I do think this is softer than the Makie brush. Also the Now brush I think is softer than the Makie, but I do recognize the portability and how it's helpful to at least have a brush nearby if you don't have nothing, you know what I'm saying? And still fairly soft, but again, as a little more pushback, a little more stiffness than the other brushes that I've showed in the video, but beautiful highlight application. All right, here is the finished demo look of all the Nakamura Seisakusho brushes that Fude was so nice to send me. I'm sure some of you might be wondering about the Isam V series, which is one of their newer technologies also. They're very close, I have to say. They are. This is the I series from Nakamura. Very soft as well, and I do think the Isam V line offers up a similar experience. And of course with the Moe brush is very soft, dare I say just a touch softer than the V series. I'm speaking marginal, okay? And with the eye, similar also. I think I want to order the rest of their face and cheek brushes to really dive into the comparisons here, because this video is just to spotlight the ones that I have. And of course, as I continue to use them with my other synthetic brushes, I would love to report back. But I am blown away by the technology, whether it's just all synthetic or a mixture of synthetic and natural, because those combinations can be tricky. And I think the Nakamura Seisakusho line is so well thought out and crafted that you have so many options in terms of how you wish to wear your makeup, how you wish to apply your makeup. And the fact that, again, the synthetic fiber is only 0.05 milliliters, I can't even imagine how smaller it can go and how far the technology can go in mimicking natural hairs that are super soft. I think these are phenomenal. They're a great price point. The most expensive brush that you saw here was from the K series, their 01 powder brush, but it's so incredibly soft, and I feel like a great introduction into Fude. If you didn't know where to go, maybe you're into half and half synthetic, half natural, you want a little bit of both worlds, this is a great series to look into, as well as the Now series. I think the brush design is beautiful, super soft as well. And if you're looking all synthetic, you have the I series as well as the Moe series, both synthetic, different in design, gives a different feel and mood. I mean, this looks like a flower. It's dyed pink at the ends, for goodness sake. I want to get more of the I series just to get a fuller experience of this line. But again, really happy with these brushes. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Again, thank you to Fude Beauty. Thank you to Nakamura-san. Really appreciate your support and generosity. I'll see you in the comments below. And until then, fam, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you in here again with another review, tutorial, brush video extravaganza, monthly favorites, or nightly life chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.